Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show. Stepping up to the microphone are your hosts, Drew Gann and Rusty Witten. Now, let's get to the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Two Buck Sports Show After Dark, our first late night recording in a hot minute. I got my guy Drew Gann here, hiding in the closet in the dark with the minions. What's happening, Uncle Buck? Tell the good people where you are.
I mean, is it not obvious? I'm in the land of minions. Where do minions live? Minionville? I think that's where I'm at. No, I'm in Orlando, Florida, or in the outskirts, in the suburbs of Orlando, Florida, on a last-minute multi-family vacation in which every single room in this house is a different cartoon or Disney theme. And so this is what I'm going to do. For every show that I do while I'm here, I'm going to do it in a different room. Tomorrow, I may be in the Little Mermaid room. Who knows? Maybe on Thursday, I'll be in the Harry Potter room or the Star Wars room or the Avatar room.
I'm sure we'll get into more of that in the Best of Beef here in a minute. But this is not live. We're recording this on the heels of the massive Memphis Grizzlies all-heart grit grind win over the Phoenix Suns. We couldn't wait till Tuesday to record this show. Also, Uncle Buck has plans tomorrow, as of this recording. As you're listening right now, he has plans. So y'all stuck with us on the late night. So we're not going to waste anybody's time because we're on a countdown because his charger is acting a fool. It wouldn't be a Two Buck Sports Show without some technical difficulties. So we'll dive right in.
All right, everybody. All right, buckets. As you know, this is the Tuesday edition of the Two Buck Sports Show, which means it's time for our best and beef of the weekend. We're two best friends for over a decade, and we need to just talk about what happened to us over the weekend just to reset, see how life's going. So, Rusty, I set them up. You knock them down. What's the best thing that happened to you this weekend?
My papa turned 89 on Saturday. Got to celebrate with family. We ate some fried fish. We did some work around the old family farm. It was nice because there's no Wi-Fi. There's barely cell service is spotty. We watched old Westerns. We watched Jimmy Stewart. We watched the original Maverick TV show with James Gardner. We watched Rob Lowe playing Jesse James. Like, it's all Westerns because that's what my papa likes to watch. It was a good recharging weekend with family. Again, fish fry and cupcakes for his birthday. Not every day he turns 89. I know I'm fortunate to be almost 38 and have three of my four grandparents still living. Very fortunate for that. So those of you that are in my life, I hope you like me because I'm going to be around for a hot minute.
Well, that sounds like famous last words for me. That's awesome. Yeah, I've only got one left, and I've told her that she is not allowed to die. I've told every grandparent that I've been alive to meet or to remember. You know, one grandparent died when I was 5. But I've told the other two that have since passed that you've got to live to 100, and neither of them held up their end of the bargain. And so now it's just up to grandma. And grandma's about 18 years away, and it's not looking promising. Listen, my best of the week is I'm here in Florida, outside Orlando in Kissimmee, Florida. This was a last-minute trip. It's a Haley Gann specialty in which her friends in their group message decided, like, hey, let's take a trip. And then 2 days later, we're headed south for 11 hours, 19 deep in this house, 19 deep, 13 kids in this house. And we have so far just had a blast. And so we're going to get a little bit weird later. You know, I'm sure when you got this many kids in the house and you spend all your money just to get here and to have a place to stay. So we're just going to hang out at the pool, be lazy. We're going to do one fun thing. We're going to do one fun thing one day this week. We haven't decided what we're going to do. If we're going to go into Disney World or keep it more low key for a day, whatever we're going to do. We're going to have a big blowout one day. And then we're going to head home on Friday and see the Tony Allen jersey retirement on Saturday. It's going to be just a week of driving.
You know, that's the difference in Uncle Buck and I. So he's on vacation with a bunch of kids, so he is dying to do a show. Next week for my birthday, Maggie and I are going to the Bourbon Trail, and I ain't doing the first show next week. Y'all can have it for a week.
This is probably the only one you're going to get from me.
That's fair. That's
big,
fair.
big win tonight. I had to talk about it.
Had to. So what goes up must come down. My beef of the week. I thought I had one until today. You know, there's nothing worse than doing tedious spreadsheet work unless you have to do tedious spreadsheet work twice. And so I had to fill out some templates with these little colored blocks on Excel and build these templates for a new program that we're rolling out that we're going to pilot here in Memphis to try and improve some things. Long story short, I filled it out this morning only for my boss to call me and say, you filled it out in the wrong spreadsheet. And I looked and I was like, it's the only one I got. And so then he sends me the right one. And the 2 hours I did this morning, before and after the daily grind, as of this recording on Monday, all for naught. Had to do it all over again this afternoon, but I was much more efficient the second time. Only took me an hour and 15 minutes, but we got it done. Nothing worse than tedious work unless you have to do it twice.
Listen, that does suck. Can't put it any other way. I've kind of already hit on my beef, but I went 11 hours with 4 kids in the car. So we're just going to skip around through this. We're going to talk about this Phoenix Suns game. Right.
Yeah, we're gonna get into Grizz. Let's go.
All right. This was a fun one. This was a fun one. Since we talked to you last time, the Grizzlies are 3-0 with a win over Dallas, the New Orleans Pelicans. Apparently, as I said on the postgame bounce, the New Orleans Pelicans have given up winning basketball games for Lent, and they are praying for Mardi Gras to get here so that they can break this fast. And then a big win, sweeping the season series against the Phoenix Suns and Kevin Durant tonight at FedEx Forum. So, Rusty, what's your thoughts?
My God, man, what a win tonight. This was like, as I said on the postgame bounce, like on the heels of the TA documentary with his jersey being retired on Saturday, we got a Tony Allen type win. You had a bunch of role players making plays. We got a great Ja Morant game. Absolutely. I think it was his 4th in the last 6 games. His Pete said on the broadcast of 25 and 10 plus. His double digit fourth quarter was unbelievable. What a win for the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. Lamar Stevens made big plays. You had Cam Spencer jawing with Kevin Durant, letting him know that he's not going to be intimidated by the future Hall of Famer. We didn't have a single post player tonight. We had Marvin Bagley, Jay Huff, and that's it for post players. There's so much, in fact, that G.G. Jackson Jr. got the start at the 4 because we just didn't have any guys to play in the post with everybody out from injury, but it did not matter. We took Kevin Durant's best shot. He had 35 tonight on 11 for 24 shooting, which is just, I mean, he's the best, in my opinion, the best pure scorer we have ever seen in the history of the NBA. Took his best shot tonight, trailed by as many as 16, and found a way to win regardless. This was an all-heart, grit, grind win. I'm still just elated from the effort, for all the talk about defensive effort. Like, the effort was there tonight. Like, we gave a damn tonight, pardon the expression. But, like, yeah, guys diving for balls. You had Scotty just in every passing lane. Marvin Bagley with 3 big blocks at the rim. Just an all-out effort night tonight. The Grizzlies are now 9-3 on the second game of back-to-back and continue to make winning plays when it matters. What a win.
Yeah. It's just an absolute 10 out of 10 victory. You know, there's been a real theme over the last 3 games in which all 3 games were wins for the Grizzlies, and that is you get down early, and then Ja Morant plays extremely well. Desmond Bane plays extremely well, and you just shots that don't fall for one reason or another early start falling late. You get back to the average here. You get back to the mean, and the Grizzlies pull it out. It's absolute euphoria. I mean,
the most improbable win of the season, really. The most improbable win of the season.
Yeah. I don't know that I could go that far. As calling it the most improbable win of the season. But listen, as much flack as Taylor Jenkins does or doesn't get, and honestly deserves a lot of it, this was a Taylor Jenkins special. If there's one thing that made us fall in love with Taylor Jenkins, it's how he can win games when his players don't play.
I don't know about all that as his internet cuts out, but he's going to apologize for Taylor Jenkins to the ends of the earth. But tonight was all about the players. Like TJ still doing some weird things, pulling guys out, having Ja and Desmond sit for extended periods. Like I'm not really sure what was going on there. But we found a way to win anyway. Drew, as you're coming back, welcome back to the broadcast. Uncle Buck, thanks for joining me here on the $2 Sports Show after dark. This is what you get with the $2. There are no refunds for what you get with the $2 Sports Show. But tonight was all about heart, grit, grind, and effort, finding a way to win on the court. I'm not so sure that Taylor Jenkins was a huge part of that, but you had guys that made winning plays. And I'd like to talk a lot about some of the unsung heroes. Talk to me about Cam Spencer, all dog tonight in the big win over Phoenix.
There's just, to put it simply, there's just no one I love more than Cam Spencer. It seems like every time we play the Phoenix Suns, he's just wanting to fight somebody. He went at Devin Booker the first time he played against the Suns. Mm-hmm. He went at Kevin Durant this time. It's just an absolute smoke show. I jumped into the Grizz 901 postgame show briefly before we started here. And what I said there is the number 24 in 20 years, the number 24 Kobe Bryant jersey will be retired in 29 NBA arenas and one Cam Spencer jersey in Memphis. There's just nothing I love more than just absolute swagger. And I don't know if I missed you saying it as my computer. Listen, we don't ask for much here on this $2 Sports Show, but somebody please donate me a MacBook. This thing it's starting to go out.
Kenny, where you at, man?
We're in year 10.
Let's expense it to the BCM account.
We're in year 10. Somebody help me out. It's just the last week it started to
the first thing that Drew and I did as friends was buy MacBooks together.
That's true. We bought them at the same time. His is obviously doing fine. Mine's but start saving your money.
I mean, that's it. Because I just stayed off LimeWire a little longer than you did, I guess.
Yeah. So listen, about the game, this was a show. Like Ja was great. Ja was absolutely outstanding again. Desmond was great. But this game was about the others, and the three others that I would mention is Marvin Bagley Jr. fits seamlessly in here. He was effort. He is what we hoped he could be, and that is big Brandon Clark. And I want to talk about Cam Spencer, obviously, and number 8, our man who we loved last year, who we hated to see not re-signed in the offseason, who for somehow went 2/3 of the season without getting signed by anybody.
It's a blessing from the basketball gods, is what it was.
And all right, so on March the 9th or whenever it was when we played the Phoenix Suns last time, or I'm sorry, March, whenever it was, I was watching Hamilton. We were stuck with Desmond Bain guarding Kevin Durant on a last-second shot. Tonight, Lamar Stevens got that assignment, and he refused to get screened twice by Tyus Jones, and contested Kevin Durant as good as you possibly could. And then earlier in that fourth quarter, every time it seemed like they were targeting Marvin Bagley III on switches, and every time he held up, it was a masterclass in stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
He had 3 big blocks at the rim. You're right. Lamar Stevens refused to be screened off of Kevin Durant. We also we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Jay Huff's return to form tonight. The Grizzlies are now 17-2 on the season when Jay Huff scores in double figures. He had a big game tonight off the bench, considering how he's been playing recently. 14 points off the bench, 50%, 4 of 8 from 3, just filling it up. He had a big block. It just felt like tonight, like this is a game that the Grizzlies wanted. Like you could tell. You had Jaren, you had all the guys that were hurt, were engaged on the sideline. At one point in the fourth quarter, when Ja hit a crazy layup, they show the bench, and who's standing there calling 12 but Yuki Kawamura. And just everybody was engaged, from the injured players to Ja Morant, everybody on the floor. But, yeah, you're absolutely right. Marvin Bagley III, big minutes tonight, caught a big lob from Ja. And just speaking of big lob, that Ja dunk, that big tomahawk that he just threw down on that fast break, like, you could just tell they wanted it tonight. And Drew, that's what we've been missing in that last homestand was that want-to effort, and we had that tonight.
Yeah, I think it needs to be stated. I have, and you have as some, but I feel like I've been really hard on Ja and his mindset and how we just need to be a professional. And what we've seen out of Ja the last 3 games, really after he complained about his shoulder in a game in which he played well, and then he said he shouldn't have played, and I kind of dogged him for that.
Yeah.
Somebody got to him, something happened. Looks like he's having fun out there.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just because he's having success. And maybe it's because he's getting to the free throw line and feel like he's getting the calls that he deserves.
Yeah.
One reason or another, he's having fun out there. I mean, that dunk that he tried last night, or I guess that would be Sunday night for everybody else that's
but he reached back to Biloxi back here.
I mean, he jumped from the corner of the free throw line and brought the ball all the way back. For him to try that, that's a different Ja. Ja has not tried that. He's got a highlight reel of missed dunks in his career, and he has not had a single one all year because he's not been willing to try it. Yeah. He tried it for the first time Sunday night against the Pelicans, and that says something about what his mindset is that he's willing to have fun, go and let it hang out, and who cares what anybody thinks.
I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome Ja Morant back to the Memphis Grizzlies in 2025 because he does look like he's back. His shoulder looked good with that big dunk. He shot the ball much better tonight. He continues to be an absolute force at the free throw line. He doesn't get there as much as he should, but he's making him count. He had another perfect night from the line against the Suns last night and just continues to make winning plays. Desmond Bane struggled for the most of this game, Drew, early on, but he turned it on late when it mattered, offensively and defensively. I still don't understand why Taylor Jenkins puts him in the position to be the inbounder when he tried to throw it away late in the game. He's one of your best shooters. Like, why is he not on the floor trying to get the ball? I don't understand why TJ consistently makes him the inbounder.
Well, that's a good spot. It's widely known in basketball that the inbounder is always a good shooter. I mean, that they run plays for inbounders all the time. Like that's something that's real because it's the person that's typically the least light.
But this is the same guy that you give absolute crap for dribbling off his foot and being a terrible point guard. Why is he inbounding the ball?
Well, he's not having to dribble when he's inbounding the ball, Rusty. I mean, that's part of it. I mean, what are you talking about? Are we talking about dribbling while you're inbounding the ball?
No, I'm just talking about why is this guy trying to be a point guard when you don't want him to be a point guard?
It's because he's a guy you trust. DeMichael Cole did come in and say that Desmond Bane did go to Taylor Jenkins and ask for Cam Spencer to be subbed in for Marvin Bagley III when they ran the inbound play the first time, and they ended up calling the timeout. And then they came out of the timeout with Desmond Bane inbounding the ball. So they obviously cooked up. They've got these out-of-bounds plays, critical, high-pressure plays that they run all the time. And you want your shooters in there. And listen, he's not the best point guard. He's not the best passer on this team. But you trust him. That's who you trust. And you put the ball in the hands. If Cam Spencer screws up, then it's a problem. But if you have the ball in Desmond Bane's hands in a game in which you have no Jaren, no Brandon Clark, no Luke Kennard, I mean, you just don't have anybody else. Your choices are few.
Yeah, I get that, but I still would rather have Desmond run around trying to get the ball as a shooter instead of throwing it off of Pip's hand.
Who do you want him to throw it to? Who do you want to throw it to him?
I'd rather have Scottie Pippen Jr. throwing that ball in because he sees the floor better, he passes it better, and Desmond's a better runner. But it worked out.
You're picking nits a little bit.
It worked out. I can't help but look for ways that we can still be better, even though we got a good win tonight. It worked out because Lamar Stevens closed out on Kevin Durant. But we're not going to nitpick. You're right. It's a win. Grizz win tonight. Drew, that's now 3 wins in a row. Heading into a Cleveland game on Friday that stands to be another watermark type game. And so we had a hard time beating Dallas, who only they dressed like 8 players. You had the New Orleans Pelicans. We took their best shot and found a way to win against them late. You beat Phoenix. It feels like, I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but knock on wood, we're starting to get some momentum. But before we move off this game, Drew, we talk about on this show a lot, like this team needs some crazy. We need some psycho. Is Cam Spencer that psycho for this team?
It's funny you asked that because in my 5 minutes that I listened to the Chris 901 show, Daniel Greer asked the same question. And yes, I mean, he is psycho and he is a guy that I want on the court and to get in somebody's head. Like that's relevant. That's a relevant position, that a relevant need that I want filled. It just can't come from Cam Spencer right now. Like it's got to come from over him. He's still a two-way, and it's the argument that I made about Scottie Pippen Jr. coming into the season's like, okay, he's your backup point guard. You just can't have him on a two-way because it's too important of a role to have just messaging. And it's the same thing I've said about Zach Edey being the enforcer. Like, I don't want a rookie being the enforcer. One of these older guys have got to take the reins. And I feel the same way again about Cam Spencer. Like, I love his crazy. But your crazy needs to come from, at minimum, Vince Williams Jr. and at maximum, Jaren Jackson Jr. or Ja Morant, or Desmond Bain. Just Desmond can't get a technical or we'll lose.
Although he did get, and I love seeing him getting KD's grill when him and Cam were kind of going back and forth, and he stepped up to defend Cam. Like that was a veteran move right there. These guys are starting to show some moxie, man.
I just knew Kevin Durant was going to go for 30 in the fourth quarter after that third quarter ended up that way. And listen, Kevin Durant is so good. I love watching Kevin Durant play basketball.
I do too, man. It's
and
just
you could
so
tell,
smooth.
like when they got in that kind of argument, or he let Cam Spencer get a little, get his word off, and he kind of looked at him and he said his piece back to Cam Spencer, and Desmond Bain did the vet thing and he gave him the shove or whatever. But then Kevin Durant, you can watch him walk into the sideline. He was just like, "Yeah, this is the game I love." Like he relishes this kind of physical game. He is not harboring any ill will towards anybody. He just loves that.
Yeah. Future Memphis Grizzly, Kevin Durant, question mark?
I'm going to tell you what, if the offer still stands for 3 first-round picks and G.G. Jackson, I'd take it.
I love GG. I said on Twitter tonight that he just needs reps, but if it gets you Kevin Durant, I think twice. I'd at least invite them out to Memphis to have some barbecue and talk about it.
Yeah. I was not on that side at the All-Star break because we hadn't seen GG. And at the All-Star break, I was the guy that kept saying, or trade deadline rather. Trade deadline, I was the guy that kept saying, like, hey, pump the brakes on GG. He's still in his second year and he hasn't played with anybody who plays basketball well. It turns out I was right on that, but even then, without ever actually seeing him struggle, because he hadn't played at that point, I was still willing to ride with GG. Turns out I was right, and I do think it's just reps. I get it. I don't think
he's 20 years old.
By no means a lost cause.
He's 20 years old.
I don't care. It's Kevin Durant.
Listen, here's my thing with GG. He's 20 years old. Like, most 20-year-olds are trying to figure their way out in life. Me at 20 years old, I was a hot mess. And GG is that defensively, 100%. But most 20-year-olds are in the NBA. Like, you're trying to figure out how to be an offensive player first. Defense is on the back burner. And say what you want. I think a lot of this is on Taylor Jenkins as well, because, like, you can tell GG's out there on his head because, like, he's in his head because TJ's like, go be the spot up three, go be the slasher, go be this guy from the two. And it's just like, he doesn't have a defined role. And so as a 20-year-old, he's lost on the court more often than not. The shot is still really smooth. He showed tonight that he can get to the rim and be creative. And he made that like up and then under reverse layup. Like there's too much good there for me to be ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater. If it's Kevin Durant, I would consider it. But GG needs reps. And I still think he's got a lot of potential to be a great player for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Oh, it all circles back to hating on TJ, doesn't it?
It does, because his mismanagement of GG and Edey is criminal. It's criminal.
Okay, GG's playing bonehead basketball, and it's hard. to.
Also, when you got a leash as short as GG has, hang on. If you got a leash as short as GG does, it's hard not to go out there and screw up, because you know that if you screw up twice, you're done for the night, and that sucks for a 20-year-old.
I totally agree. It's really hard to develop. However, whether he likes it or you like it or not, he is the 10th guy on this roster. And that's what he's playing like. If you want starters to get more minutes, he gets a shorter leash. You can't have it both ways. And I'm okay with him getting 10 minutes, seeing what he's got. If he hits his first 2 shots, it's the J Huff rule. Give him 5 more minutes to see what comes up next. Ride the hot hand. If not, we got to go back to Jaren. We got to go back to Santi. We got to go back to Brandon Clark. There's just not a fourth guy.
Touche.
So,
I can see that.
All right, so we're at 27 minutes. I'm in Orlando, Florida. You got anything else about this Phoenix game?
Nah, man. It's a good win. It's a good momentum building win. We're going to take this momentum into Cleveland on Friday night. I know you got a tight deadline tonight with the phone battery and everything going on there. It's a good win for the Memphis Grizzlies, but can we capitalize, Drew? What do you need to see going forward from this team to show that we learned from tonight?
I mean, it's real simple, and I'll just continue to be consistent here. I know that doesn't provide for like much flavor, but I mean, I just truly believe it's true in every single aspect of this team. And that is when Ja Morant plays well, when Desmond Bane plays well, then this team wins basketball games. It's just that simple. Ja Morant's playing his best basketball, his most passionate, his most fun, free-flowing offensive basketball that he's played all season in the last 3 games. We have won all 3 games. They have not been blowouts, and they have not been against good teams. But you have played really well, sans minus Jaren Jackson Jr., and you've won all 3 of those games, coming off of a stretch where you lost 4 in a row, including 3 buzzer beaters to bad teams. Now we've won 3 close games against bad teams, or bad to okay teams. And you've got Cleveland coming up, and you've got Miami, who's always ready to pick a fight on Saturday. And I just like to see that Ja Morant and Desmond Bane are playing good. I like to see that Jaren Jackson Jr. is still on the sidelines without a boot, being active, not seeming to limp. And listen, there's no reason to think that we can't get hot. I think this is the first of another 4-game homestand, right?
Yep.
So went 1-4 in the last 5-game homestand. Rebound here and feel good. Get to the playoffs with confidence.
Yep. I mean, that's it. Like, you saw tonight, go back and look up on Twitter in the background when Cam Spencer is John with Kevin Durant. You see Ja Morant and Gigi bouncing in the background. When Nick Richards got his tech, you see Ja giving him a tech as well, calling it with the ref. Ja's having fun again. And we've always said this, man. When Ja Morant is having fun, that's bad news for the rest of the NBA. He plays light. He plays fast. We get the big dunks tonight. He shot less 3-pointers tonight. Ja was much more like Ja let Ja be Ja tonight, and it turned into a double-digit fourth quarter, a 16-point comeback win, and you see what happens when your superstar point guard is engaged. I've said it all year long. Jaren has been the best producing player, but this team goes as Ja Morant goes, and Ja had his best stuff tonight. He was engaged, and if we get that Friday and Saturday, we're going to continue to see that. What I don't want to see is Ja mysteriously pop up on the injury report between now and Friday. Like, I need Ja to start stringing some
together. Play the back-to-back.
That's it.
You got Cleveland, and then you got the Tony Allen game in a back-to-back night.
We need you. We need you.
He hasn't missed many games. I mean, he missed the 2, but he came back extremely healthy, and he's played every game since. I think this is 3 in a row.
This is 3 in a row. Can you make it to 5? I need you to make it to 5 before we start hitting the road next week. And so
I need you to make it to 7, so I know that you can last a 7-game series. But I'm not saying anything negative about Ja tonight.
No, I mean
that's
absolutely
incredible.
Yeah,
and just keep the mojo going. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're cooking, whatever Mama's cooking you, whatever whatever pillow you swap to, I don't care.
Keep it up. Yeah, the shoes tonight were working. They look great on his feet. They were my favorite of the Ja 2s that have come out for sure tonight.
So I'm gonna read you a tweet. Let me know if my camera goes away, but I'm gonna pull up this Twitter here. Ja Morant says he's going to pick up Cam Spencer's technical foul. Fine.
Let's go.
And he said Desmond Bane was unaware that Ja was going to cover the cause. He said he was going to do the same. So I guess they're going to split the fine halvesies for Cam Spencer's technical foul.
Yeah. Oh my! And like the first thing I open up Twitter, first thing I see is the Memphis Grizzlies are better without Jaren Jackson Jr. There, I said it. Like, these people that crawl out of these holes and come up with these takes are like,
That's
it's
clearly
for engagements. It's clearly for engagement. That's it. It's clearly for engagements. Astronoma, if that's you, bro, like put the phone down. Like this team, like Jaren makes, like with Jaren, we win all 3 of these games pulling away. Like this is a whole different team with Jaren playing at an all NBA level. Like it's just wild what comes out of Grizzlyland or the Grizzleverse or whatever you want to call it. When the Grizzlies, like it's just unbelievable what happens.
Let me just play devil's advocate just for a second. We're only at the 32-minute mark. Does this give any credence to Ja's? It was speculated that part of the reason why Ja may have been kind of whatever this year, not aggressive, kind of passive and kind of pouty. Some people speculated it was because he thought Jaren was getting too much clout and it was his team. Could. I don't believe it. But I mean, hey, embrace debate.
Listen, Drew, you're way too close to Disneyland. I think you're officially in Grizzleverse, Grizzlyland, and like out there in La La Land is where you are, because those two things can coexist, right? Like Jock has been demon time job with a good Jaren Jackson Jr. Now, this is the best Jaren product we've ever had. Johnny's figured out how to coexist and play with that, and it can happen. You can have a two-headed monster. It works in many examples in the NBA. It needs to work with these two because their games are so different, and there has to be a way for this to work. Like you sound like one of the official like Grizzly heads
don't
on
attribute that to me. I did preface it with saying devil's advocate. Yep. So no, I do believe that no one is a bigger fan of Jaren Jackson Jr. than Ja Morant. I just think that has been true for 6 years now, and I believe it's still true today. And if Jaren Jackson Jr. wins Defensive Player of the Year or gets an All-NBA team and gets a Supermax contract, no one will be happier for him than Ja Morant.
Ja Morant's going to celebrate that bigger than anybody, that's for sure. So it begs the question, Drew, as we're wrapping this show up, we'll give you a short one tonight. We're going to be one of the shortest episodes in the history of the 2 Bucks Sports Show, that's for sure. But winning cures all, right? We're a week away from a 4-game skid. Has all been forgiven, or is there still things you need to see on Friday night before Cleveland, in the Cleveland game, to tell you that we've turned the corner?
Listen, you always feel better about your team after wins. No doubt about it. I'm not going to come here and say that this team is perfect, though. We still have questions. But what we've seen in this last 3 games is something that I have not seen all year. And that is Ja Morant having fun playing loose basketball. And, it's just as simple as that. That gives me more confidence than anything. Naysayers can say, like, oh, you beat Dallas. Oh, you beat New Orleans. Oh, you beat Phoenix. Phoenix at home at that. I don't care. It's about what the passion that I saw this team play with tonight. It's about willing to fight for each other. Cam Spencer gets in a shouting match with the greatest scorer of all time. Yeah. And Desmond Bane backs him up. And that's it. It's chemistry that I loved. It's fight. You're right. It's fight on the court, but it's also fight as people and pride that I haven't seen. Yeah. I see pride. I see power. Yeah. That's what I wanted to see. And so that means more to me than the win. And that's something we saw in losses against Cleveland, And so it's not necessarily, wins are great, but even in losses, if they go out and lose against Cleveland on Friday night and we're there for the fight, then I'm going to sleep well at night.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I hate Hugh Freeze so much, but if we lock the door and we pick a fight with Cleveland Friday night and we go down swinging, then that's a win. There's a good chance we're going to see a lot more healthy bodies Friday night.
I felt that way about after the Oklahoma City game. I came on this show on Thursday and said, I don't really put any of that loss on the players or the coaches. I just kind of started to place a little blame on Zach Kleiman because this team just isn't good enough. But they played well.
They played hard.
Good enough,
They played hard, yeah.
And played hard.
That's it.
And so this team played hard tonight. They played hard for each other. They played with passion. They played like kids on a court that love to play basketball.
That's it, man. And then Friday night, you get some bodies back, right? You get Brandon Clark, Zach Edey, Vince Williams back. Maybe get a questionable out of Santi, Luke, and Jaron, maybe. But you get some bodies back against Cleveland. And like you said, you go out there, you play with heart, you fight. And if you come up short, but you play with pride for that name on the front of that chest, that's all that matters. And if you can come out, you go down swinging, I will back this team to the ends of the earth every day.
Yeah. Listen, we just watched a documentary, and they're going to hang a 9 in the rafters, and I can't say it enough. This fan base fell in love with a team that was gritty and that grinded. And no matter how off you were shooting that night, they were going. The opponents were going to feel you. You were going to wake up sore the next morning because they played the Memphis Grizzlies. Yeah. And that tonight is what I saw.
Absolutely. They just showed up again, a refresh Twitter. First thing is Zach Randolph's torture chamber, and like just that grittiness and that team that like peaked in a Western Conference Finals sweep. They got swept by the Spurs. I went to one of those games. It was not pretty, but that is a cult hero, like a Bolt type hero team. This team can find that. You just got to start stringing some wins together. And tonight went a long way against Phoenix. But we're going to wrap it up. Sub 40-minute show tonight. I know Uncle Buck's got some stuff going on. His vacation is way past this old man's bedtime. So we're going to cut it short tonight. Thank y'all for hanging with us. Uncle Buck, thanks for making it happen. Thank you, everybody. Uncle Buck, especially for weathering the technical difficulties. Be a friend to somebody who needs a friend.
And we're going to – yeah, we're going to try to get you one on Thursday because I hate not to do shows when you're riding hot, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to try my best to get you one Thursday. If not, I will see you guys Saturday in the Grindhouse with my Tony Allen All Heart Grit and Grind shirt that Rusty bought for me today.
Yes, I went and I bought 7 of them. I stood in line. I bought 7 shirts today. I almost bit some girl. She kept reaching across me and going for shirts in front of me, and I was like, ah.
If that's something you wouldn't see on the Memphis news, I don't know what is.
That's it,
man bites woman at Grizz over Tony Allen t-shirt.
If she had reached in front of me for a medium one more time, she was going to draw back a nub, as my dad would have said. I was just upset. But we found a way to get the shirts. We're going to find a way to get some wins. Thanks for hanging with us. I'll be here Thursday regardless, hopefully with my sawed-off co-host here. But they're on a refund for what you hear on the $2 Sports Show. Thanks for hanging with us tonight.
That's right, because with the $2, you always get what you pay for. Say what up to the minions.
Go Grizz.
Go.
Thank you for listening to the $2 Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of all things Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next time.